Shalom. All praise be to Yahweh Shem Shai. Double honors to the apostles, the elders, the GMS, Ruel, Brakatham, Aki. That's out there pushing this truth on the four corners of the globe. All truth and sincerity and strength to Yahweh Shem Shai. This GMS stop and listen. I want to go into share with you Galatians, the 5th chapter. Starting at the 16th verse. Basically this is how we need to keep walking in the spirit, man. Because our flesh and our spirit, they actually in conflict with each other. Your flesh want to do one thing, and your spirit have you do another. And they're in constant conflict, right? So if you're not walking in the spirit, as you're going to see, it'd be certain things that would actually have you your life will have you doing. You're going to see that in these scriptures, right? It's a lot because kind of under the weather real bad, but we got to keep pushing this truth, man. Best of our ability. Galatians 5:16. This I say, it says, this I say, then walk in the spirit, and ye shall not fulfill the lust of the flesh, right? Because you're supposed to let the spirit basically guide your life, if you don't, then the spirit, your flesh will, basically have you doing like sinful things, man. Your flesh craves the sinful nature, the nature side, desires, have you doing, basically like wrong desires. That's your flesh, it craves the evil side. So if you're going to, walk in the spirit, let the spirit lead you at all times, right? And it says, for the flesh lusted against the spirit, and the spirit against the flesh, right? Because the flesh want to roll with the evil desires and do evil. That's what the flesh wants, man. But the spirit makes it do the opposite. That's why somebody put a gun in your hand and say, "Hey, go kill this person." You could be mad at them, but when somebody stick that gun in your hand, the reality set in, the spirit set in, the spirit be like, nah, I ain't gonna do that. But people who let their flesh take over and they seek those evil desires, they'll take that gun and blow the next man's head away. And it says, for the flesh lusted against the spirit, and the spirit against the flesh, and these are contrary the one to the other, so that ye cannot do the things that ye would in the world. So they constant spirit and the flesh constantly at war against each other, which will keep you from doing what you want. They're at constant war, man. So it says, verse 18, but if ye be led of the spirit, ye are not under the law. Because there's certain laws that we can't do them all, 613 of them. There's certain ones we just can't do because we're in captivity, But you can be led by the Spirit and have faith, And it says, verse 19, now the works of the flesh are manifest, which are these: adultery, fornication, uncleanness, and lasciviousness, right? When you go into adultery, that's that sexual immorality, being wicked, having wicked behavior, corrupt and dishonest behavior, the sexual orientation. It says fornication, which we know fornication is physical and it's spiritual. You have spiritual fornication where you're believing in idols and whatnot. Being impurity, degrading yourself. You degrade yourself when you go after those other idols on a spiritual fornication side. You're degrading yourself and corrupting yourself. It says uncleanness and lasciviousness. Lasciviousness is lustful pleasures. There's a word that goes into that. When you look the definition of it, was a word called debauchery, which is excessive indulgence, right? Because when you're dealing with spiritual fornication, our people they indulge into the indulging and getting into the idols, man. They go far and beyond. They do whatever Esau's doing. You know, they get into like excessive. I should give another example. Like when you read in the Apocrypha, talk about Bacchus. That was an excessive party, excessive drinking, and that leads to what? Sexual immortality. Those things, these type of things, are the things that our people indulge in. Wearing crosses around their neck, eating pork, eating shrimp, eating lobster, eating snakes, eating alligators. They indulge all the way in it, man. Going up into these harlot houses. You know, they go excessive for it. Verse 20: idolatry, witchcraft, hatred, variance, emulations, wrath, strife, seditious, heresies. Idolatry is worshiping these false gods, man. They worship Islam. They worship Buddha. They worship Scientology, Caesar Borgia, Hinduism. You know, Semiramis Tammuz, man. They worship all these other gods, man. Witchcraft, it's sorcery, man. Magic. It's often found in the connection with idolatry. When you get off into these idol worship, it's always some kind of black magic at the end of it. Our people are into that, man. And when you stay indulgent into it, you get caught up in these spells, man. You know? And it goes into, witchcraft goes into administering of drugs, poisons, pharmakia, man, where you get the word pharmacy from. That's all tied in the witchcraft, man. Sorcery, man. The administration of these drugs out here. You know? Hatred goes into enmity, hostility, a reason for opposition, man. You know, when you let your flesh take over, these are the things that happen. You know? Even in the truth, if you have a reason for opposition, it should be against Esau. Because he's the one brought you over on cargo slave ships. He's the one got you in slavery. He's the one that's basically killing your people. Took your heritage, hid your heritage from you. That's who you should have a reason for opposition for. If you stay in the spirit, you shouldn't have opposition against like the men who they're with you fighting, trying to bring this truth out with you. Shouldn't be no opposition there. You know, shouldn't be no hostility there because we go out with each other. We go out on these highways and byways. When you look around, brothers standing next to you. We shouldn't have opposition there. Opposition should be against the real enemy, who is Esau and these other nations, man. Like you have variance, which is contention, strife, and quarreling. These go on within the brotherhood, man, and it shouldn't be happening. Our strife and quarreling should be with Esau, man, and the other nations, right? Emulation, envy, is jealousy, a feeling of discontent or resentful longing for someone else's possession. This goes on, man. You know, it goes on in the 2/3 world. Brothers be mad because the neighbor got a new car, and he want that car, man. He love that car. He tell him, "Oh, I love it," but then inside, he call him all kind of names, man. It goes on within our lives as being men of the Lord, man. Brothers might be mad of another brother's mind state, or what position he have, or what he can do in the truth. You know, you go on your job, a boss might envy the low man because every time they have a meeting, the low man has better ideas than the boss, and everybody's clapping for the low man, and the boss will envy that. This stuff goes on the 2/3 side, and it goes on the men of the Lord side, man. Brothers envy other brothers, man. You know, and it shouldn't be that way, because these characters are characters we had in the world, right? And them same characters are being brought. That's why we have to understand what we into. We have to make that change, man. If we're gonna walk in the spirit, this is what walking in the spirit is about, man. It's telling, if you walk in the flesh, these are the things that's gonna happen. When you walk in the spirit, you becoming new, man. You know, wrath, anger, fierceness, strife, it's contention, seditions, divisions. You even have divisions inside of Israel, right? Heresies, body of men following their own tenets. When you go into the word tenet, it's a principle or a belief, a philosopher's doctrines, precepts, creed, and dogma. You even have it inside of Israel, man. It's certain sects in Israel that believe a certain doctrine and preach a certain doctrine. And it's a division right there. You know, the 100% truth is what it's about. When you read that, when you let your flesh take over, you have these things happen, man. Inside Israel, we know we have division, man. It's certain sects know they Israelites, but when it comes to certain precepts, they are not pushing that precept, man. And it causes a division, man. You know? It says, verse 21, envying, we know what that is, murderers, drunkenness, reveling, and such like of that which I tell you before, as I have also told you in time past, that they which do such things shall not inherit the kingdom of God. Yahweh Shem Yahushua. So if you do these things, right? Murder, envy, excessive reveling, excessive drunkenness, party, idolatry, witchcraft, hatred, variance, emulation, wrath, strife, seditions, heresies. If you let your flesh take over till you start doing these particular things, no, you can't inherit the kingdom of heaven, man. You're not being led by the Spirit. And you have this going on even within, you have all this going on within even in our GMS. These brothers are actually still holding these these certain characters, man. We gotta let that go, man. You know? Because you see it, man. And it says, verse 22, but the fruit of the Spirit is love, joy, peace, long suffering, gentleness, goodness, and faith. It says the fruit. What's the fruit right there? The works and the acts and deeds, man. So it's saying the works and the acts and the deeds of the Spirit are these: love, which is affection, goodwill, endeavors, and brotherly love, man. And brotherly love, it's like if you used to be in a certain way, brotherly love is gonna basically be hard, man. You know, because holding these particular, when you go through those verse 19 and 20, all these characters of the flesh, if you're into all these, it's gonna be hard to it's gonna be hard to really trust people, man. When you going in all in. Then to jump into this and be like, how I say, brotherly love, it's going to be hard, man. So it's a real hard fight. Like it says, a hard fight between the spirit and the flesh, man. They at war, man. Inside of you, man. It says, peace, salvation leads to peace. We're not going to have peace until Yahweh Hashem Yahushua come back. And we have that salvation. That's when we're going to get peace, man. We get the kingdom of heaven. You know, that's the works and the deeds we looking for. Not those hatred and variance and emulations and etc. Lustful pleasures. Not those. Not in fornication and adultery. No, we looking for salvation, man. When you're led by the Spirit, you're looking for salvation. That's when you're going to get our peace, man. It says long suffering, patience, and endurance. You have to have patience and endurance, man. But we getting that's part of our test right now. Whether you can be patient and enduring and being led by the Spirit. Patience, man. That's one of the keys, being patient, man. It's gonna come. I know, brothers, man, we get frustrated, like it ain't happening like we want it to, but Yahweh Hashem Yahushua had his plan, man, his purpose. His thoughts are not your thoughts. His ways are higher than your ways. His ways are not your ways. So you have to be patient, man. And keep in the spirit. And don't let your flesh take over and start doing these particular things that it mentioned in 19 and 20, man. Yeah, it's hard, but you have to endure, man. Because the Lord is testing each spirit. You know, if you have strife or contention with somebody, let's say another brother, or you might say he's have ill will against you, it ain't him. It's Yahweh Hashem Yahushua putting that thought in your head, pursuing to Job 33 and 15. That was put in you to think that, because that's your test, man. It ain't that brother is doing nothing against you, or that brother have strife. That's a test for you. That be test we go through, man. Because you gotta remember, every spirit you getting tested. I'm getting tested. The next brother getting tested. The next brother getting tested. You know. And it says, read that again. Verse 22, but the fruit of the Spirit is love, joy, peace, long-suffering, gentleness, goodness, and faith. Goodness meaning what? Your integrity, man. Your moral goodness, moral character. You know? And faith is your belief, conviction of the truth in anything. Conviction means what? A firm held belief or opinion. We firmly hold that these scriptures are true. And everything in it is true. That's part of having faith, man. You know? That's why we have faith and we continue to do what, when they say about the law, the best of our ability. You can't do them all. If we show faith to Yahweh Hashem Yahushua, that's why we're going to go back and try to do those laws in the Torah the best of our ability. You know, it's certain laws we're not going to be able to do, man. And it says 23, meekness, being gentle, right? It goes with goodness, and temperance. Against such there is no law. There's no law against temperance. Being temperance is having like self-control. When you can control your desires, man, have good temperance. I'll give you a good example of that. When we come into this truth, we learn the truth, we excited. When we go out on the highways and byways, we be aggressive. We're going to point that finger. We're going to cuss Jake out. We're going to cuss Esau out. We're going to tell him how the Lord going to kill him. we're gonna we're gonna have that hostile attitude on us. But as the Lord give you temperance, He gave you more spirit, and that spirit is what controls it. You gain that temperance. You have that self-control. Now you can sit back. Now when people come up, if they yelling at you, obscenities at you, you're calm. Your desire is to knock their damn heads off. That's your desire. Because common nature with people, you don't like people coming in your face, cursing you out and pointing their finger at you. You know, nobody like that. But we're led by the Spirit, so the Lord has gave us through these years, months and years and days, He's gave us temperance to have self-control. So when somebody come up on us, they're talking all out of order, all in your face, you have that self-control. And other people see that. When they see you have that self-control, they be like, man, them men must be men of the Lord, because I won't let that dude come in my face like that. You get more respect when you see that dude, them spit on dude, he ain't even do nothing, man, I'd have killed him. But when you're in the Spirit and you're men of the Lord give you that temperance, man, that self-control, man. And that's something He gives every brother. Because I can see, just watching videos and brothers when we first started, go back and watch old videos of our elders. Through the years, the Lord give you this, put that temperance on you, man. That's a beautiful thing, man, within itself. Where you can control, you can have self-control, man. And it says, verse 24, and they that are Messiahs have crucified the flesh with the affections and lusts. Crucify the flesh to destroy its power utterly. And those passions and no lust, man. Basically, if you fall under your howl shot, you're being led by the Spirit, it's going to basically destroy those particular characteristics, man, of the flesh, man, which we read them in verse 19 and 20. And it says, verse 25, and if we live in the Spirit, let us also walk in the Spirit. So if we live in the Spirit, let the Spirit lead us in everything we do, in every fashion of our lives, man. Because our lives are not just on the highways and byways. It's outside of that. It's 24/7. Be led in the Spirit constantly, man. In verse 26, let us not be desirous, right? Conceited, basically, of vain glory, provoking one another and envying one another. So we shouldn't have no ill will towards other brothers, man, at no time. And if that's happening, then it's because the Lord is testing you, man. It's not that brother don't like you or he has something against you or whatever. It says don't envy one another. I can't sit there and be envious of somebody else if they know certain breakdowns I don't know. Now look at this motherfucker, he think he's shit. I can't do that. We have to learn from it, because we all in this thing trying to push this truth, push these prophecies, and get out of here. That's the main thing. At the end of the day, it's about doing what you're supposed to do and get on these damn ships, man. Because destruction is coming. You don't want to fall into that destruction of the hands of the Lord, man, and be destroyed. You don't want to go through the famine, the pestilence. Being fucked up by Esau and this martial law, these concentration camps. Some of us gonna have to go through it, be a more test of faith, but you really don't want to go through it. You want to do what you got to do and hope that the Lord give you that spiritual power protect you, have you in a certain place where no harm coming to you, and put you on the ships, man. And as that last scripture say, even one another, that ain't gonna get it, man. Because that's gonna bring all those other characteristics of the flesh in there, man. You're gonna have strife, contentions, you know, and that ain't about nothing. Heresy. We have enough of that already. Division within Israel. It's enough of that. So, man, just, hey, be led by the Spirit, man. Let the Spirit lead you in your every part of your everyday life, man. Not just on the highways and byways. This is 24/7. And with that, man, all praise be Yahweh Bashem Yahushai. Double honor to the apostles and elders, GMS. Brakatham Al Yakin, that's out there pushing this truth on the four corners of the globe. You know, in all truth, sincerity. Hey, Salaki, my voice is not what it normally is, man. Under the weather real bad. You know, and with that, man, we still gonna push on, though. You know, with that, man, Shalom.